JCF warns vehicles at Constant Spring Police Pound will be impounded or actioned if not collected. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF is advising members of the public that all vehicles held at the Constant Spring Police Station's pound will be impounded or actioned if they are not retrieved in 2 weeks. The JCF is encouraging individuals who want to make a collection to contact Inspector Russ West at 876-839-0558 or Corporal Brown at 876-799-0808 or the Constant Spring Police at 876-924-1421. St. Catherine man charged with larceny as a servant after fleecing millions from customers. A St. Catherine man has been charged with larceny as a servant after allegedly fleecing over $3 million from customers at a business establishment where he worked in Spanish Town. The accused have been identified as 21-year-old Takada Beckford of Slagoville, St. Catherine. Reports are that Beckford used his security code to void customers' receipt and took for himself the money that was to be paid to the various service providers. This reportedly took place between August and January 2025. Beckford reportedly confessed when a concerned customer inquired about her bill payment not reflecting on her service got disconnected. He was arrested and later charged following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. Wholeness urges mothers to help dissuade sons from engaging in criminal activities. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging mothers to help dissuade their sons from engaging in criminal activities. He says that harsh reality must be confronted, that crime and violence continue to plague the society, and that too many young men are being drawn into the life of crime. Mr. Holness stated that more than 90% of crimes are committed by men, and that 90% of the victims of crime, particularly murder, are men. He points out that there is a problem with men and boys in the society, and women who have influenced them have a critical role to play. The Prime Minister is calling on women to encourage male relatives involved in criminality to give up the lifestyle before it's too late.
If you go to the prisons today and you ask any of the prisoners, who do you love the most? Or who do you miss the most? Who do you think you have disappointed the most? Who do you think they're going to say? Their mother. And when the police come for them, who do you think they're going to cry for? Women have a very influential role. So too many of our mothers are crying because their sons have either been taken away by violence or they have become part of the problem. And this must stop. And our women, you have the power to help in this change. Mothers, you are your sons' first teachers. You shape their values, their attitudes, and their understanding of right and wrong. I urge you, talk to your sons. Talk to them. Put away the belt for now. Reason with them. It's too late when they are staring down the barrel of a gun for you to do anything to help them. It's too late when they are in the prisons, regretful of their past life. Take the time now to talk to your sons. And as you hear my voice today, and if you know your son, your nephew, your boyfriend is involved in a gang or criminality, just pick up the phone or when you see them in a moment, talk to them. Plant the seed in their head that they should turn away from this life.
Malahoo Fort honored to be part of Jamaica's leadership. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Marlene Malahoo Fort, says the government has a cadre of women who bring unique perspective to the table and are committed to working in the best interest of Jamaica. Malahoo Fort was appointed senator in 2009 and has been Member of Parliament for St. James Western Central since 2016. There was a time when I would go home every Monday and I'd say to my husband, boy, I don't know if I can really manage this political work, I really don't know. And he would say, I told you that you would have been better in the other branch of government, she stated. I'll say today I actually see progress on some of the issues that are of concern to me. So let me stay and wait until next week, and I'll see what happened. And every week I would go home and we would debrief. I would also make progress, and this is 16 years later, she added. She was addressing Tuesday's International Women's Edition of Post-Cabinet Press Briefing held at Jamaica House. Minister Molehu Ford shared that she is honored to be a part of Jamaica's leadership. Many of us have the option to work in many different places, but we choose Jamaica, and we're bringing the best of our talents to work on behalf of all Jamaicans, she stated. Her encouragement to Jamaicans as they observe International Women's Day on March 8 is to always show up at their best. All of us are broken in some way, but the less broken will have to help the more broken, and whatever work is assigned to you in the government or in the wider society, I want you to take it seriously. This is history-making times. We read of those who went before us, and it is my hope that those who come behind us will find us faithful, she shared. Meanwhile, Molehu Ford said work to reform the Constitution will continue. It has been a very difficult in a context where some dishonor agreed goals, national goals, because they want it their way or the highway. We can't take for granted the privilege that is given to us. The privilege is not personal privilege, it is a high seat of responsibility that has to be used well. We are pressing on because we see the potential of Jamaica and we're working to unlock the potential, she shared. Stand Up for Jamaica calls for collective action to tackle gender inequality. With the world set to observe International Women's Day on Saturday, March 8, local advocacy group Stand Up for Jamaica is calling for collective action at all levels of society to tackle discrimination against women in multiple aspects of life. The advocacy group in a media release stressed that achieving true equality requires more than policy changes and government intervention, but demands grassroots action, solidarity, and collective organizing. A top-down approach alone will not work. Real change happens when women and communities come together to build networks of support, advocacy, and empowerment. Strengthening local organizations, fostering mentorship, and amplifying women's voices at the community level are essential to challenge systematic barriers. By standing together, women can create lasting change, support each other's struggle, and build a future. Equality is not just an ideal but a reality, the group stated. Governments, businesses, and communities must actively address inequalities and create policies that ensure fair wages, protection from violence, and equal opportunities for women in all areas of life. Stand Up for Jamaica added. It said many Jamaican women, especially those in low-income communities, struggle with limited access to economic opportunities, support systems, and protections from discrimination and violence, especially in rural areas where they are on the front line as community faces the growing impacts of climate change. Many Jamaican women, especially those in low-income communities, struggle with limited access to economic opportunities, support system, and protection from discrimination and violence, especially in rural areas. They are at the front lines as communities face for growing impact to climate change, the lobby group noted. The group emphasized that International Women's Day must serve as more than just a symbolic acknowledgement of women contributions but something to be renewed call to action. International Women's Day must serve as more than a symbolic acknowledgement of women's contribution. It should be a renewed call to action. Governments, businesses, and communities must actively address inequalities and create policies that ensure fair wages, protection from violence, and equal opportunities for women in all areas of life, it concluded. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.